So, who asked for a Peacemaker show? That's the question a lot of DC fans were asking when, shortly after the Suicide Squad was teased at DC Fandom 2020, it was announced that the character Peacemaker would be getting his own HBO Max series, with audiences not even knowing what the hell Peacemaker was at that point.
Peacemaker. Who?
Get out of here! There's no superhero called Peacemaker!
And plenty of fans were already disgruntled due to the fact that we've been waiting for the Green Lantern HBO Max series, the one that we've been teased with for so long, and nary an update has been made of any real tangible value. Like, they couldn't have at least shown us some art for the show or a costume concept at one of these DC fandoms instead of fucking showing us the stupid golden boots. Like, come on, it's easy.
It's easy. Not hard. I said it's easy. Not hard. It's easy. And here's the fun part. It's easy. What's the matter? You don't want to make $1 billion?
I get taking time to get things right, but we'd been needing the Green Lanterns, okay? I digress, but with all the things that DCU has been lacking, it would seem that other bigger, well-known properties should have taken precedent before a show about a guy that rocks a toilet bowl on his head, especially when that guy is played by John Cena. And I'm not trying to hate on John Cena or hate on wrestlers turned actors, but it seems to be quite often very hit or miss. Cena's movie history also doesn't give you the most reassurance, okay?
Are you sure about that?
I lied. But seriously, it was a very out of left field thing for the DCU to do at the time, and fans were right to feel nervous. But as time went on and the Suicide Squad by James Gunn finally came out and was absolutely amazing, by the way, I saw John Cena as this character I'd never heard of before, and he 100% sold me on it. I already love James Gunn's movies, if you couldn't already tell, so I wasn't really worried because I knew James Gunn was going to give us a banger. More so, I was curious. But John Cena as Peacemaker really showed the makings of such a humorous and complex character. The whole idea behind being a quote extreme pacifist is insane. Loving peace so much, you're willing to kill not only men, but women and children for it. That's such an oxymoron. I was totally down to see that ideology explored and unraveled in a TV format. Plus, the range on John Cena in that movie is outstanding. The remorse on his face as he killed Rick Flag is something I'd expect out of a veteran actor, which, hey, what is wrestling if not acting in your underwear every week for millions of people? It makes sense. And so after that viewing, I felt way more at ease and was actually looking forward to seeing this character getting the spotlight shed on him. So on January 13th, I watched those first 3 episodes and knew this show was about to go off, okay? We get to see Peacemaker in a whole different light and environment, with going back to his home and meeting his father and understanding why Chris is the way he is, okay? His father is cold and abhorrent towards him, and the only way Chris can get any love or affection out of this man is by talking about the torment of others, which is not good for a young boy growing up or a person at all. Plus, to top it all off, his father is a huge racist, which they reworked from the comics from what I understand. In the comics, his father was named like Wolfgang something, and he was actually a Nazi soldier, but this whole white trash racist angle I think works better for the show in this time and setting, and they made his character an amalgam of that and the White Dragon, who was another white supremacist character in the comics, basically racist Iron Man. And as soon as Chris thinks he's in the clear from going back to Belle Reve, he gets confronted by the crew. The familiar faces we see are Amelia Harcourt, the tough and skilled agent lady, John Economos, the gentle giant tech guy, and introducing Leota Adebayo, the inexperienced newcomer, and the big boss himself, Clemson Mern. And they basically let Peacemaker know that they still have him by the balls and he has to do what they say and assist with Project Butterfly or they'll explode his fucking head, which later on in the season we find out to be an alien invasion of butterfly type extraterrestrials that go into people's mouths or assholes and take over their bodies and minds. Pretty gruesome process, so Peacemaker has to play ball and try to work in this team. A lot of humor ensues from the interactions between him and his more reserved teammates, and from Freddie Stroma's Vigilante, who is an absolute standout character. I loved him. DC's Deadpool at this point, really, and throughout the series we see each character's arc play out nicely. Each character was put to use and had something to do. Vigilante honestly kind of stays the same throughout the series, but we kind of unravel who he is because he comes off and he is a sociopathic character, but we start to see a little bit of the humanity in him, how he cares about Chris and his fellow teammates, how there's such a dichotomy there of like this crazy mofo and this actually like weirdly sensitive, nice kind of friendly dude. So it was really nice to see that be explored throughout the series. series. Leota was just an inexperienced newcomer and also a plant for her mother Amanda Waller, who gave her the job because she had lost her last one. Her and Peacemaker become close. She sees through Chris's rough edges and sees the good in him, but that connection is strained due to her being outed as a plant and betraying Chris by planting that incriminating diary for the authorities to find, which I thought was hilarious that they would actually like believe that he would do some stupid shit like that, which honestly it isn't that unbelievable that he would make a fucking dumbass diary like that with all those fucking stupid stickers on it. But that relationship ultimately gets rekindled when Leota proves herself to be an absolute rider by not only saving Harcourt from turning into a butterfly, but also donning the incredibly dangerous torpedo helmet to save Chris, and ultimately she kind of does as well save the world by killing the cow. And she also outs Task Force X and her mother for all the messed up shit she's been doing, which I was like, damn, Adebayo, telling on your own mom? But hey, she did what she thought was right. Economos goes from a kind of insecure nerd who ends up coming in clutch in lots of times of desperation. Like, he kind of was the one who apprehended Judo Master after he kicked everybody's ass in the beginning. He also saved everyone's ass by killing that butterfly gorilla and putting on that uniform and going straight into the butterfly's den to plant the sonic boom helmet. You know, he ended up making friends and being a true badass. Harcourt started to even open up throughout the series, started to enjoy her teammates, come closer to Chris, who eventually I think they will have something going on between them. We get a really amazing moment with Myrn after it's revealed that he's a butterfly himself and is fighting against his own species because he believes them imposing their will on people is wrong. No matter how good their intentions might be, it's up to people to make those decisions for themselves. The conviction that Myrn had when he said that he only inhabited the worst person he could find to stop them, and that he could feel this person's thoughts, and that no matter how bad he was, even he was capable of changing. I think that's a beautiful message, and one I'll go into further in a bit, but Peacemaker himself deals with a lot of his own demons internally and externally. We find out why Chris is the douchebag he is, and although it's still in him, he evolved into a way more compassionate character throughout the series. He's going back on his whole vow of peace that he made all those years back as a child, because we find out he's plagued by the death of his brother that in reality his father is responsible for making them fight as kids, and listening to Adebayo's words about not letting that define him, and dealing with killing Rick Flag as a good man, which kind of in a way paralleled that day as a kid, and actually confronting his father and ultimately killing him after, of course, his dad donned the white dragon suit just to kill his son. That plus the whole being a white supremacist thing should have been a long overdue and well-deserved event, but we see Chris cry about it. And I think in these complex moments is where James Gunn absolutely shines, because no matter how bad our loved ones are, there will always be a part of us that holds love for them. Relationships between people are far too complicated to be reduced down to this person bad or this person good. And for a regular person to just be able to act in the most logical manner possible in times of great distress, it's just not realistic, okay? For example, if my mom went out and burnt down an orphanage, I'd be very torn, because while she committed this atrocity, that's still my mom. I fucking love her. I don't want to rat out my mom, even though that'd be the right thing to do and a logical thing to do. That's what I find so beautiful about Gunn's writing, is that he's having you watch what happens when bad meets evil in real time, which was a concept I was going to go into in my Suicide Squad review, but of course the file had to get corrupted. But I love the idea that people, even the bad ones, have a line, something redeemable about them that sets them apart from the truly evil ones. People that kill for no reason or because they like it, abusers, or anybody that harms kids in any way. You can be an unrelenting douchebag, but that doesn't make you evil. There's a line, and I love that. I'm sure most people believe they're good, and they might be right. Others might believe they're good, but land more towards decent or even bad, which I'm sure people would believe themselves to be irredeemable in that situation. But I think it's beautiful that something good can still exist in someone that flawed, and I think that's a big message in a lot of Gunn's movies. Just because you're fucked up doesn't mean that's all you have to offer. You are capable of doing tremendous good no matter how bad you think you are. So for a first season, that was pretty fucking awesome, guys. It's not without its problems, of course. I feel like the plot is kind of similar to Suicide Squad in that there is this Black Ops task force full of ragtag team members that has to fight aliens that are taking over people's bodies and ultimately having to kill a kaiju in the end. At most, it felt a little too familiar, but it had social commentary sprinkled in for those that really enjoy seeing that. The action was absolutely on point. I love that with with each hit, you could feel the impact, very similar to Zack Snyder. I've always said Zack Snyder is the best with visuals, aesthetics, and action, but the only one to come close in those regards would be James Gunn. The choreography and the creativity was pure joy to watch, especially in that last final battle. As is usual with all Gunn's projects, we got an amazing soundtrack and lots of, and you guessed it, humor. Okay, now I can understand if certain people don't like James Gunn's comedic taste. Comedy is subjective, so it's all good. But me personally, I love the humor, all of it. Okay, the dick jokes, the immature or inappropriate jokes, the farting, shitting, pissing was all quite enjoyable for me. Okay, guys, the fish jokes have always been funny. Okay, don't let anybody tell you different. Go watch some Robot Chicken if you beg to differ. Humor does not ruin the DCU in any way, especially when Gunn does it. I've noticed Gunn is incredible at balancing humor and deeply emotional moments because he can do both to a great degree without having to undercut either. I'm talking to you, Don Cheadle in Endgame. I also love seeing the Justice League, or what little we saw of them, because Batman and Cyborg were not there for reasons unknown, but still kind of known. The little interaction between Barry and Arthur was great, and anyone saying it's out of character probably forgot about this scene in Snyder Cut and, well, has never experienced true camaraderie in their life, which is fine. But yeah, people were complaining about it, and well, it just couldn't be me, players. I love humor, and I don't need the DCU to be 100% serious for it to be quality or good. I think that's ridiculous. So with that all being said, I can't wait for season 2 and to see all these characters back, hopefully in other DCU projects as well. That is why I'm giving season 1 of Peacemaker a solid 9 out of 10. Definitely not perfect, but also amazing considering the fact that James Gunn got me to care again about another group of obscure as hell characters that are just as flawed and redeemable as everyone would hope to be. So I implore all you beautiful players out there, if you could just take one moment away from fucking bitches, getting money, and of course, shitting blood, and choose peace. Thank you very much. I'll see y'all in the next one.